Welcome to the Official Personality Guru. Extroverted sensing, or SE, occurs when someone is focused on the outside world and all the information they're getting from their senses. People who use extroverted sensing live in the now and find joy and purpose through their interactions with other people, cultures, and nature. Unlike types who live in their heads, extroverted sensors are energized by the sights, sounds, smells, feelings, and emotions they get from interacting with the world. Today, let's talk about ISTP Auxiliary function and understanding the ISTP Secondary Extroverted Sensing, or SE. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to the Official Personality Guru and ring the bell icon to get regular updates on our latest uploads. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up button and share it with your friends. Extroverted sensing is the secondary cognitive function in ISTP personality type individuals. When searching for a deeper understanding of personality types, it is important to understand each one of their functions. While we often focus on the dominant and even inferior functions, knowing the auxiliary and tertiary ones are also vital. It is not just about knowing what functions each type possesses, but rather how these functions behave within the stack. When a function is dominant, it will present differently than when it is auxiliary. And so, understanding this is truly important if you want to understand each personality type. Knowing each function on its own doesn't give you a true comprehension of how the personality type is going to utilize that function. Instead, you need to learn more about the placement of each function and how it corresponds with each personality type. ISTPs are often recognized by their extroverted function, which is also their auxiliary function. Their dominant introverted thinking is a big part of how they process information. But without their extroverted sensing, the ISTP would not respond to this information in the same way. This is why understanding the AUX function and the role it plays is so important in understanding the ISTP a bit better. This extroverted sensing expresses itself similarly at first glance, but it is much different in the ISTP than it would be in someone who is SE dominant. Their introverted thinking is still their most actively utilized function, and their SE is what aids the use and processing of that function. Without understanding the way their SE responds to their TI, there is not a complete comprehension of how the ISTP is going to filter their information and how they are likely to respond to things as well. How SE works. Extroverted sensing, or SE, is very focused on the physical world and living in the present. Someone who uses SE as their dominant function doesn't like getting hung up on past or future situations. Instead, they want to take things as they come. They are extremely connected to their physical presence and their senses, wanting to connect with things they feel and see. For the extroverted sensing types, it is important to live in the moment and follow what feels right to them. They can be rather good at things like sports or spatial awareness, being very in tune with the world they see, touch, smell, taste, and hear. For these personality types who use SE as their dominant function, it can be hard to understand why some people seem so distracted or spaced out since they are focused on connecting with the present moment. This is something that can be useful in more ways than just quick reflexes or being able to enjoy the moment. The dominant SE user is often able to recognize the smallest changes and adjustments in their environment. They can see when things or something isn't quite right or fitting into what they know to be previously accurate. When changes occur, the SE Dom will be able to take notice of this, and this can help them understand when something is wrong around them. It is connected to the physical and the things they tangibly see, but can also help them understand when a person is upset. Since being truly upset can alter someone's physical presence, the SE Dom will often take note of this. They can also tell when someone is not feeling themselves, and this helps them in certain medical fields as well. Being so in touch with their senses is something that can make the SE user rather capable and skilled at predicting when certain things might occur. Auxiliary SE and ISTPs. ISTPs are often seen as laid-back and go-with-the-flow types, and this is in large part because of their extroverted sensing. This function allows them to live in the present moment, soaking up the joys of whatever is the most exciting around them. Instead of becoming hung up on the past or stressing too much over the future, the ISTP wants to live in the present moment. They are not afraid of taking action when something inspires them or when something needs to be done because they are aware of what is going on in front of them. While other types can become hung up on what is going on inside of their minds, the ISTP is capable of stepping outside of this to get things done. Their dominant function is their introverted thinking, which is an internal framework of information that the ISTP processes and uses to understand the world. This is important for the ISTP, and it can get them caught up in a web of inner thoughts and ideas. This is why understanding their auxiliary function is so important, since this is what helps the ISTP become in tune with the physical world around them instead of becoming trapped inside of their minds. While the ISTP's inner thoughts are rich and complex, they are very much present in the physical world and in tune with their senses. They use this inner framework of information to become skilled problem solvers, often working with their hands a lot. ISTPs often enjoy things that allow them to connect things physically, wanting to take something apart and put it back together again to understand how it truly works. This makes them more visual than some other TI users, since their SE is connected to this. This is why understanding these functions is vital, as it makes the ISTP behave much differently than other TI users might. They still base things on information and facts, but are very grounded in reality because of their SE. They want things to be connected to those senses, using them to feel for information and connect with what is around them. This is why ISTPs are capable of taking action at the moment, using the information they have gathered to step forward and keep that flow and motion. They don't become stagnant because of their SE, which allows them to jump into things in the present. Are you an extroverted sensor? Here's how to tell. We've already listed a few of the distinctive traits of extroverted sensors. If you still aren't sure whether you can use an SE function, here are a few clues that can show you that you do. 1. You enjoy the company of children and animals. Do you love kids and animals? Most SE types do, since extroverted sensors are playful by nature. It's not uncommon to see them jump right in when they see kids having fun. Like children, animals are also spontaneous and fun-loving, and absorb at the moment, which probably explains why extroverted sensors have so much fondness for animals and often have several pets. In a very real and very positive sense, people who use extroverted sensing refuse to let the child inside of them die. They're happy to assume grown-up responsibilities, but they won't let their playful side be extinguished by the passage of time. 2. You enjoy listening to the people talk about themselves and their lives. Those with a strong extroverted sensing function are intensely curious about other people. They enjoy hearing loved ones, co-workers, and brand new acquaintances talk about their jobs, families, hobbies, time in school, and other interesting activities, and they will ask a lot of questions to elicit as many details as possible. Extroverts in general are sociable and outgoing, but ESFPs and ESTPs may be the most sociable extroverts of all because their extroverted sensing function makes them so eager to learn about how other people live. 3. You are an inductive thinker. A deductive thinker relies on general principles, concepts, or ideologies to help interpret events. They develop their big ideas first and then use them to make sense of what is happening in the world. An inductive thinker, on the other hand, bases everything on observation and experience. Their ideas about topics like politics, spirituality, science, psychology, culture, and nature are constructed from the ground up, rooted in solid reality rather than abstraction. As an extroverted sensor, inductive thinking will come as naturally to you as breathing. You won't trust big ideas that seem to be based on speculation, and you'll always gravitate toward thinkers who are practical in their actions and grounded in their outlooks. 4. You see details others miss. Extroverted sensors notice the details because, to them, the details matter. From an SE perspective, the details and texture and depth to the experience, and if they are overlooked, the flavor of the moment will be lost. If you're an extroverted sensor, you may be genuinely surprised by the inability of your friends and family members to either notice or remember detailed information about people, places, things, or interesting events. At times, you may become impatient with them, thinking that they didn't notice those things because they weren't paying attention. 5. You frequently change jobs or careers. The resume of the typical extroverted sensor will be quite long. Before they settle on a long-term career, They will often hold several jobs that cover a broad spectrum of duties and responsibilities. Even after they find a long-term career that satisfies them, extroverted sensors will often move from job to job within those careers, as they're always seeking promotions and aren't the least reluctant to move to another state or city if a new opportunity requires it. Does this match your history? If so, it isn't because you struggle to commit or don't know what you want out of life. If this happens, it's because, like all SE users, you crave fresh and unique challenges and will become bored in a job if you don't find them. You're allergic to routine. And when you've been in a particular job too long, or if a job isn't challenging and requires no creativity, you'll be looking to move on. What are the auxiliary functions that you think are applicable to an ISTP personality? Be sure to watch until the end and share your experience for a chance to have your comment pinned. 6. You don't dwell on the past or live in the future. Extroverted sensors aren't much into nostalgia, and if you use SE, you won't spend too much time thinking about all the fun you used to have. You'll find the present far more stimulating and provocative than the past. And the only time you'll think about the past is if it somehow adds context to what you're doing right now. If you possess an extroverted sing function, you won't be preoccupied with the future either. You experience the world as a place that produces constant surprises, and since the future is still indeterminate, you won't spend time trying to predict what might happen someday. Before we continue, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give us a like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the Official Personality Guru for more amazing videos. Don't forget to ring the bell icon to stay updated with our content. 7. You enjoy taking risks and actively seek them out. Your desire for the new, the different, and the exciting runs deep, and you're not afraid to take some risks if it means you can learn a new skill or try something thrilling or energizing. For you, life isn't worth living if you always play it safe. Since this approach won't bring fresh and diverse experiences, you aren't a reckless person. You do try to plan ahead of time to make sure the hazards are minimized. But you aren't going to pass up the opportunity to go mountain climbing, skydiving, motorcycle riding, or any other activity you find intriguing simply because others tell you it's too dangerous.